Welcome to the Sideline pregame show. I'm Jake Berry alongside Mark May. And Mark, we've got 3 games, but only one at home this week, and that's Memorial versus Juarez Lincoln.
Yeah, Memorial and La Jolla Juarez Lincoln Huskies going at it. This will be the second time that Memorial's played a La Jolla school. They beat the previous one, La Jolla High School, 62-35. We'll see what happens in this one. I expect Memorial to put on a show.
Yeah, and Juarez Lincoln has played some tough games this year. They played Mission extremely tough to 1 point. And Mission was the team that beat Memorial this year.
Yeah, and also La Jolla Juarez Lincoln coming off a big victory over La Jolla last week, 49-42. So they've scored 80 points in their last 2 games. So this is a team that can certainly put some points up, and of course Memorial can put points up. So we should see a pretty high-scoring game between these two.
And when we look at McAllen Memorial, who are they going to rely on offense? I know we know that one person, which is Campbell Spates. But last week they had a bunch of people provide offense for them.
Yeah, they did. They really spread it around as they won the game 41-7. In fact, Campbell Spates had his first game that he was held under 200 yards. I mean, it's amazing how high the bar is for him. He still went over 100 yards rushing, so he's got 7 straight games of over 100 yards rushing. All 7 games he's played this season. He's still averaging 10 yards a carry and has 26 touchdowns. He scored 3 touchdowns last week in the win over Mac High. So he's still playing very well. Michael Lewis really came on strong last week. He had a 41-yard touchdown run and had 89 total yards, including that touchdown. Fernie Briones played a little bit. He's averaging about 7 yards a carry. And Joseph Lotta, the quarterback, he'll sometimes carry the football as well. Then when you look at their receiving core, Zion Gregory came on strong, 7 catches for 205 yards last week and 2 touchdowns. And he was the subject of our interview this week as well. Here's Lotta wanting to throw on 3rd down and 6. Going to step up in the pocket, throw it deep, intended for Gregory, and Gregory makes the catch.
Wow, Mark.
Makes the catch down near the Bulldog 20-yard line.
My name is Zion Gregory, and I play receiver for the Memorial Mustangs.
A brilliant over-the-shoulder catch by Gregory will move the Mustangs deep into Bulldog territory.
The most challenging part is either blocking like a fast corner when they're trying to like do a move on you to get away from you and not hold them or block them in the back, or if it's like a pretty good corner and they're guarding you, like hands in your face, like to track the ball and find it. That can be pretty difficult. I study Odell Beckham, I study Jarvis Landry, like the way they run their routes, like different things they do, like head fakes to get open. Like I study a lot of different players and try to install that into my game. One of the main plays that I remember is the 18-pitch pass. And we always think about that play and we always like go over it in practice, but I never thought that we would actually run that play. So at the beginning of the play, I was supposed to act like I was blocking the corner so that they fell for the pitch. And then I look, and then I see Campbell. I thought he was about to get hit, so it was a little underthrown, so I had to wait for it. We can run the ball if we want. We can throw the ball. We have good defense, so don't underestimate us.
And there you have our look at Zion Gregory, who had some tremendous catches last week. They're going to have that kind of output this week, but Juarez Lincoln is not the same competition as the other teams in the district.
Yeah, Juarez Lincoln under Coach Tomas Garcia, they're averaging about 26 points a game, but they give up about 34. So yeah, defense is not their strong point, but we did mention that they can certainly put up the points. Josh Briones is their quarterback. Tight end Orlando Perez is a big target for them. They have a strong offensive line, so they're certainly a team that can pass and throw the football. On defense, they've got Keith Hernandez, who's 5'8", 180. He was second-team All-District last year. Mark Guerrero anchors the defensive line. On the defensive backs, they've got a couple of fast guys in there. Albert Batres and Jose Marquez both have 4.7 speed, so they've got some speed there in the secondary. Looking at the defense for the Memorial Mustangs, Chris Sanchez, the middle linebacker, continues to lead the team in tackles. He's should go over 100 this week. He's got 4 sacks as well. Had 9 tackles last week in the game against Mac High Bulldogs. Linebacker Michael Morales has gone over 50 tackles. Leo Caballero, another linebacker, also has over 50 tackles and a couple of sacks. Sebastian Turk is real strong on that defensive line, over 50 tackles and has 3 sacks on the team. That's the team high, in fact. And the team overall has 15 sacks in the 7 games that they played, a little over 2 per game. Then as far as interceptions goes, Diego Vidial leads the team with 4. Omar Salazar and Justin Chadiz have 2 each. Justin Chadiz getting a pick last week, in fact, against Mac High.
Well, there you have your look at McAllen Memorial and Waters Lincoln. That game will be played at Friday at home, but we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll have more about Mac High and Nicky Rowe.
There are stories in this world that go untold. At McAllen ISD, we do a tremendous job telling our story. We have talented staff that captures the power of our district and creates a narrative to share it with the world. At McAllen ISD, we believe that there is nothing better than a great story and how it can inspire an entire community to strive for excellence. Our story is one of strength, grit, and resiliency.
We got an A! Yeah! Woo!
There is strong. Then there is McAllen ISD Strong.
Welcome back to the Sideline pregame show. Mark, when we talk about the next game, there's some big ramifications in it. Mac High versus PSJ. PSJ was the team that beat Rowe. Gave them their first loss last week. But Mac High has played defense extremely tough this year.
Yeah, their defense has been good this year. They've taken some hits as far as injuries goes. However, we'll have to see how that plays out. But for Mac High, they've had some tough losses. A close one to Rowe, close one to Mission, and close one to La Jolla. Then against Memorial, things kind of unraveled a bit there. But they've got Hunter Curl at quarterback. The sophomore seems to be getting better each week. Yahir Mesa has been getting more and more carries in the backfield. Quinn Canada and Octavian Lewis provide ample targets for Curl. Then on defense, they've got Juan Corpus and Cesar Arredondo on the defensive line. Dylan Suarez as a defensive back who usually covers the top receiver on the opposite team. Trace Gagne had a big game last week at linebacker spot, and Vance Bramble has come on strong along with Tyler Zachman at the defensive back and linebacker. So, Mac High is certainly going to have a really good defensive performance to slow down the PSJA Bears and come out with an upset.
Yeah, and we saw the PSJ Bears. They're able to score in bunches and extremely quick. What do we know about that team? I know we saw them last week, but what do we know about this
Well,
game?
the Bears are 4-3 overall. It's a little deceptive as they're 3-1 in the district, in second place right now behind Mission. A curious thing about the Bears, they haven't won at home yet. They're 0-3 at home, so that might bode well for Mac High, who's on the road tonight. They are scoring about 33 points a game, about 400 yards of offense a game, led by Justin Morales at quarterback, who's right at 2,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, has also run for 3 scores. Last week had 377 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, so they can certainly light it up. Ethan Castillo caught 9 balls for 100 yards last week. Miguel Flores is their leading receiver with 50 receptions for the season, including a touchdown that he caught last week, giving him 9 for the year. Marco Guajardo has 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown just last week alone. J.R. Vasquez is their top running back at close to 500 yards, averaging about 6 a carry, and has 6 touchdowns. So, they've got a lot of weapons on offense that will give teams fits. On defense, they're giving up about 26 points a game, so they get into a lot of shootouts, as you said. Jacob Sanchez last week had 13 tackles to lead them there. Manny Castillo had 10 tackles and a sack last week on their defensive line. And so, there's a couple of strong guys there on defense as well. So it should be a pretty good game between the Bears and the Bulldogs. But Bulldogs are going to have to probably play their best game of the year if they're going to pull this one out. Yeah,
and the injury bug has hit them, so we'll see how they play. Looking at the other side of the district is Rowe. Rowe last week suffered their first loss of the season to PSJA, and they're going on the road as well.
Yeah, Rowe lost 41-34 to the PSJA Bears. And a bit of an upset. It was Rowe's first loss of the season. Rowe playing at Mission this time around. Now, Mission's unbeaten at home. They're 2-0. They've been mostly away from home this year, but they are 2-0 at Tom Landry Stadium. But looking at Nicky Rowe, they're averaging 34 points a game, about 370 yards a game. They're 2-0 on the road, which bodes well. So we got an undefeated road team against an undefeated home team this week. Jonas Ortiz has 1,300 yards passing and 17 touchdowns, only one interception all season long, so he's continuing to go gangbusters there. Last week had 149 yards passing against the in that loss to the PSJA Bears. The running attack, Lorenzo Lopez, wasn't able to play last week, so we'll see if he's able to play this week, but they could certainly use him. He's had good production, especially in the inside running game, adding 3 touchdowns, but did not play last week. Joey Partida, who did play last week, had probably his best game of the season, 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Partida, one of those two-way players. So he's very strong. And in fact, he's a 3-way player. He plays on the special teams as well. So Joey Partida, a strong weapon for this Nicky Rowe team. One piece of good news, David Savage has come back at receiver. He had 3 touchdowns early in the year before getting hurt, but he came back last week in some limited duty. Gustavo Cruz continues to provide a big target at the tight end spot. He's averaging about 19 yards a catch and has 5 scores. Then on defense for Nicky Rowe, they're giving up about 24 points a game, which is about 10 under what they score per game. Jose Alonso leads the team in tackles. Jason Neal is also right up there at defensive back. Omar Villarreal had a really strong game last week with 3 sacks, and he now leads the team with 7 sacks overall, and he had 3 in that one game against the Bears, and numerous other tackles as well. Derek Luna, another two-way player who's an offensive and defensive weapon, continues to shine on both sides of the ball as well. So should be a pretty exciting, high-scoring game between Rowe and Mission.
Yeah, and Mission just defeated PSA North last week. And but they struggled against Mac High here at home. Mm-hmm. We'll see how they play at home.
That was an overtime win. They got squeezed to overtime before they were finally able to beat Mac High. But Mission averaging about 32 points a game, and they're led by Jeremy Duran, who's their quarterback. If you saw him against Memorial, he had 3 touchdowns and 260 yards passing in that game, so we know that he can light it up. Horacio Moranta at running back is averaging about 7 yards a carry. He's their leading rusher. Then another target they have is Andrew Maldonado. He'll run the ball out of the backfield. He'll also catch the ball out of the backfield. Their leading receiver is Steve Villarreal. Certainly some good weapons there for them on offense. And on defense, they're giving up about 20 points a game, and their leading tackler is a linebacker, Luis Baldera. And then another linebacker, Justin Soto, also has come on strong for the Mission Eagles under Coach Coy Detmer. So, and they're pretty balanced attack as well between the run and the pass. I know we think of Coy Detmer, a former NFL quarterback and former Mission quarterback, that they maybe like to throw the ball a lot, but really they're a pretty balanced attacking team, and so that's what makes it hard to game plan for.
Yeah, and this will be that game that everybody's looking at, because if Rowe is able to beat Mission, it becomes a 4-way tie it could be a 4-way tie for first place.
Yeah, it could end up with a 4-way tie if Rowe beats Mission, if PSJA wins and Memorial wins. You'll have 4 teams all at 4-1 in the district. So yeah, it could be wide open going into those last 2 weeks.
Well, there's your look at this week's games. When we come back from the break, more of a Sideline pregame show.